Hello, I'm Julia Edmonds, Managing Director of Lexington. We are a leading food service business, mainly based in London. I'm here today to talk about the Food Service Circle. It's a great new initiative set up to support many people who have been displaced by the coronavirus pandemic. And I'd like to introduce some people from the Lexington team to share their experience of dealing with the crisis and what we are planning for the future. Like every other business in our sector, I am sad to say that we are losing talented people as a result of the crisis, which is why we are incredibly pleased to be involved with the Food Service Circle, so that collectively we can support people across the whole sector to find new roles. There is loads of helpful advice available on the Food Service Circle website to help you, and over the coming week, from the 21st of September, Lexington will be posting videos, blogs, social media to help share helpful information about dealing with the crisis. We've got some top tips from our COVID heroes on finding the purpose through lockdown. We'll share thoughts from our teams working in the post-COVID world and how they are adapting. And our website will be updated regularly with our vacancies, and we'll be keeping in touch with all of our teams should we be able to support them in the future. So how can we help? Well, Lexington has been built on a strong set of values around nurturing talent and delivering delicious food and service, all of which are absolutely at the heart of everything that we do. One of our values is to be bold and take the initiative, and this has never been more important and relevant right now. Lockdown has hit at the very heart of our community. Most of our business was closed overnight, and with everyone forced to work from home, I'm incredibly proud to work with an amazing team of people. They have shown resilience, adaptability, leadership and courage as we've navigated our way through, and everybody has pulled together to do what's needed at a very difficult time. The biggest challenge we face now is the move to work from home, but we are seeing things recovering. And when people do come back to work, they're looking for the best possible experience, especially when it comes to their health, well-being and their safety. And I'm delighted to say that we're all now focused on reopening our sites. Although it will be slow for some time, we expect to recover and rebuild, and with new innovation driven by the new world that's around us. So to kick us off with our series, with an introduction from Catherine Lewis, one of our co-founding directors, she will share what we're doing for our teams to overcome the crisis and, more importantly, prepare for the future. So please follow us on social media and hear from other members of our team for helpful tips and advice. And please do get in touch if you'd like to find out more. Over to you, Catherine.
Many thanks, Julia. My name is Catherine Lewis and I'm one of the founding directors of Lexington. And as Julia has already shared, we're a culture and values-led organisation. So these remain very important to us as we went into lockdown, and as we look to the future will continue to be a very important part of our business. However, like many other businesses, we needed to think very quickly about how we were going to focus on keeping all of our Lexington community engaged as we move forward. We were already fortunate to have our app, Let's Connect, which is our employee app that was actually an initiative that came out of our Aspiring Leadership programme. Our app we use to share nice to know and need to know information, which has been a great asset to us as we went into lockdown. Our Let's Talk portal, a vital tool for our managers, ensured that we were able to share timely any of the COVID ever-changing details rapidly and accurately. And perhaps one of the simplest initiatives but most effective initiatives that is new to Lexington is our weekly wrap, which simply does what it says on the tin. It's a wrap-up of the week. It's news and activities shared with everyone, from everyone. It really just shares what our people are doing, what we've all been up to, lots of food, and what's happening in London. So as Lexington look to the more immediate future, it's really about understanding how our people are feeling, what have they been doing whilst they've been furloughed or locked down, and how can we support them as they look to slowly return to work. They've had a lot of time to reflect and think about what is important to them. So it's important now more than ever to listen, continue to listen as we look to bring our community back together again. So it's at this time of year that we would normally start planning for our individual performance reviews, but we're going to change our approach this year, and we're going to think and ask questions about how are you feeling about returning to work? What support do you need from us? And we'll consider and factor in both the physical and emotional needs. We've been fortunate enough to have been partnered with Purple Cubed and have used Talent Toolbox for the last 18 years. It's used by everyone, and so it's fully integrated within our world. We use it to shape our people strategy, and we also use it to sense check how happy and engaged our people are feeling. So I'm delighted at this point to introduce Jane Sunley, author and founder of Purple Cubed. Jane's going to tell us a little bit more about the importance of employee wellbeing and sharing some of their initiatives that they've put into place in recent months. Hi Jane, it's lovely to see you. Thank you very much for joining. I thought it would be just a really great idea if you could just spend a minute or two to explain to others about Purple Cubed.
Very quickly, we work with all sorts of organisations, but primarily hospitality, helping them to be great places to work, to engage their people, etc. We do three things very quickly. We do consulting on that. We do leadership development, which is a kind of group coaching approach. And we also underpin all of that with great technology.
We've been working with you for 18 years and have fully embraced the technology side of things, but perhaps the technology bit's the bit that we could really think about now in terms of how that's really going to help people and help them getting back into work.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's been through an awful time, and the last thing they need is people bombarding them with stuff. But that said, they also need to be listened to. So what we did during the whole pandemic was to adapt our technology, and we've made a sort of super back to work version that's about, so how are you and how are you feeling and how's your life changed? Because the thing is, every individual, it's really hard to go and ask them. And then it's really hard that if you do ask them to process that information. So if you can automate that and get something out there. So I think it's just about understanding what's going on in people's heads. And if companies can do that, I don't think you need to do very much else with them. If you can just understand that and look after their well-being in that way, then job done for now. And then regroup after you know exactly what's going on and make sure your people are okay, I think.
The other great thing that you've spent time developing is the Wellbe.
So Wellbe is very different from other wellbeing tools. Even before the pandemic, there was a massive wellbeing crisis in the UK, if not in the world. Absolutely. And we just said, look, we want to do something about that, but make it less about throwing solutions at people, because it's great to have all the millions of good things that people do, but if you're not very well and people are kind of throwing all these solutions at you, you end up feeling worse. So what Wellbe does is it helps people to self-assess their own well-being whenever they want. And then from that, it will give them personalised recommendations, and it will look back and see what they've done before, so that it's building, constantly getting things that they can do something with. And you know what, if they're not very well, they don't get any recommendations. It says to them, look, you know, we're not going to do anything right now, but please go and talk to someone, and this is how you could have that conversation. So you're just giving people kind of tools and coping strategies to help themselves.
We are really looking forward to sharing that tool with our employees. And I think you mentioned when we last spoke about perhaps the opportunity of sharing it to people that have found themselves in a position of redundancy.
So we obviously feel terrible, as everybody does, about the number of people who've lost their jobs. And particularly in hospitality, we've adapted our original tool, because the original tool says things like, how happy are you at work? Or clearly we won't be asking that. So we've adapted it and made it into a free version, and it's going to sit on the Food Service Circle website as a resource that anybody can go in and use at any time. And I think you're going to make it available to your Lexi alumni. They'll be able to have it for free as well, because actually, you know, it's just about helping everybody out of a place at the moment.
Thanks, Jane. It's been really good to chat.
Pleasure. Nice to see you.
Thank you. See you soon.